Helldivers, I was just halfway through my brief from the new update when I logged in to find that the Automatons have retaliated. We have assaults in the Hydra sector at Menkent, and 4 new fronts opened up in the Locale sector alone, with the planets Lasarth, Penta, Chorp Bay, and Chuhei under attack concurrently. Be ready to man your pods, but before that, let's go over the newest patch update notes because there are things you need to know before you load out. More on the new offensive as the briefs come in. If you're anything like me, the crashes of late have been doing an absolute number on your diving experience. I can basically count them on 2 hands every single day that I play, so this is at the very least an extremely eagerly awaited set of fixes on my end. One of the coolest openers to this new patch is that they now factor in explosive damage into weapon stats in the game menus, meaning that guns like the Scorcher represent their damage numbers more accurately. We've gone over this a few times in our numerous weapon stress tests, but it's fairly obvious that the listed damage numbers and armor penetration stats often mean very little. Some guns with medium armor penetration don't seem to penetrate what we'd consider to be medium armor, whereas some light armor penetration weapons appear to penetrate what we consider to be heavy armor, etc. The Scorcher is a great example of this, where through the technicality of its AoE splash damage, it's able to hurl DPS past the heavy front plating of a Strider and kill the robot piloting it. The more work we can get to clean up the menus and give divers a clearer reading of what sort of guns they're actually unlocking can surely only be a good thing. I'd also love to see armor penetration boil down to a more granular numerical value so that we can at the very least cross-reference what sort of units a gun should technically be able to damage before running it through the gauntlet on one of our infamous stress tests. The notes read like a shopping list of crash fixes. What the devs have addressed is crashes that occur when deploying to mission, crashes that occur during extraction right after it, crashes that could occur if the squad deployed a large amount of support weapons, crashes that could occur during gameplay, a crash that could occur when using heat-based weapons, crashes which could occur if a player died while using the jetpack, a crash which could occur when large volumes of enemies were present, a crash which could occur when the player picked up a snowball, a crash which could occur when completing an objective, a hang that could occur while navigating the social menu. They might as well have just said, we fixed crashes that happen basically any moment you breathe or do literally anything. And finally, picking up medals and super credits will no longer lock the player in place. The last one was a fun one. There's nothing better than trying to grab some loot while under fire only for your Helldiver to panic freeze in place. I absolutely loved eating through my squad's reinforcement budget as my divers stood stoically still, eagerly awaiting to meet the great father of democracy in the sky. The new War Bond is now only 2 days away, and I'm warming up to get stress testing like a maniac, so if you're not part of the community already, consider joining us to get notified. I'm thinking a launch day stream followed by one of our famous editor tests, albeit apparently only on the Terminids, given that we've repelled the bots for the time being. I won't complain since it makes my life easier, but it does make one wonder whether some of the guns that are more bot-centric won't get to show their magic against the bugs. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it, I'm super excited for some of the weapons, and I hope to see you there. Now, the crash fixes are cool and all, but what really caught my attention is the list of items that are on the devs' radar to fix in the near future. There are some huge pet peeves listed on here, so it'd be awesome to see them finally addressed. Aside from various issues involving friend invites and crossplay, we have damage over time effects may only apply when dealt by the host. I didn't even know this was a thing, but might explain why fire damage has been such a hit or miss affair for me over the weeks. There are so many strange glitches with Helldivers and the nature of hosting and networking. I'm sure we're all well familiar with the uber OP railgun when the PS5 player is hosting bug, though I've seen no word anywhere of whether this is ever going to get addressed or not. Don't get me wrong, I love two-shotting Bile Titans as much as the next guy, it's just that it completely flies outside of what appears to be the intended game balance. Players may experience delays in medals and super credits payouts. Let me know if you've ever experienced this one. Enemies that bleed out do not progress personal orders and eradicate missions. I think this is part of a broader issue of kill attribution in the game. I recall a while back that certain stratagems or emplacements weren't correctly registering kills to the owning player. Certain weapons like the sickle cannot shoot through foliage. Oh my god. This has been in the game for so long that I started to think it was actually a feature. I thought for a hot moment that their balance for the sickle was to make it completely useless in jungle planets. But thank sweet liberty, they've got this on the list, which would take one of the game's best primary weapons and make it just that little bit juicier. Scopes on some weapons, such as the anti-material rifle, are slightly misaligned. I can't tell you how much I look forward to this fix. So many times have I popped a Hulk straight in the face only for it to not register, and it's amazing to know I wasn't actually losing my mind. Arc weapons sometimes behave inconsistently and sometimes misfire. I experienced this a great deal during my arc thrower stress tests, and is one of the reasons I didn't enjoy using it much. Misfires were extremely common, and the gun felt far more inconsistent than I prefer from my usual loadouts. It'll be interesting to see whether the arc thrower becomes even more meta for Terminids after the fix. Spear's targeting is inconsistent, making it hard to lock onto larger enemies. It's hard to believe this issue is still in the game. It's been a massive deal breaker for the Spear ever since launch day, and completely negates its usefulness to a point where you just never see people load out with it. Conceptually, it's a great gun, so let's see it get fixed and part of some more popular loadout rotations. Stratagem Beam might attach itself to an enemy, but it will deploy to its original location. This has caused many a swearing fit in my games. I used to pride myself for throwing 500 kilo bomb markers directly onto tanks, only for the bomb to drop meters away and detonate flaccidly without causing any damage. You would hope an Eagle pilot would be able to track a targeting marker moving a few mere meters. Let's fix this ASAP so we can have some badass tactical stratagem drops. Explosions do not break your limbs, except for when you fly into a rock. I'll chalk this one up as a win while it's still in the game. I tend to like my limbs, I don't know about you. Area around Automaton Detector Tower makes blue stratagems such as the Hell Bomb bounce and be repelled when trying to call them down close to the tower. Again, another issue I'm amazed is still in the game. I've got videos from weeks ago calling out this bug, wondering how the hell we were supposed to complete an objective that wouldn't let us call down the thing required to complete said objective. Another one where the sooner the better. Planet Liberation reaches 100% at the end of every defend mission. I've had this several times, but wasn't it just a visual bug rather than something setting the actual planet's completion to 100% for all Helldivers? In any case, I am stoked for many of these quality of life fixes. Some of them are desperately needed to airtighten the game, but for now, let's just jump in and hopefully enjoy a largely more crash-free experience. It gives me a good reason to get back to the game, because if I'm being totally honest, the squad and I don't really vibe the Terminid missions quite as much as the Automaton ones. Once you've deployed on enough high difficulty Automaton missions and are used to taking cover, setting up ambushes and assaults, and generally just trying to play as if you're in a real tactical encounter, it's a bit of a bummer to go back to something that feels like a perpetual Zerg rush. The last Terminid mission I did, I notched up over 700 kills, and I swear I felt every single one. It was just endless. When I close my eyes, I can still see my Quasar Cannon's charge bar filling up to take out yet another Charger or Bile Titan. There are always dozens, somehow. I don't know, man. I think the Automatons wrecked me, so I am expecting great things from the Illuminate. On that note, what do you guys think is coming next, and when? We're constantly getting leaks here and there about Illuminate orders, and it seems like that's the next logical chapter in the story of our universe. In order for our victory against the bots to mean anything, they need to stay suppressed for a meaningful amount of time. Though we have a brand new war bond coming, and the only thing we can test it out on is the bugs? I don't know, guys, it all seems a little fishy to me. I think we'll be seeing the first of our sci-fi aquatic Protoss adjacent alien friends sooner than we might otherwise think. Anyway, we'll find out soon, I'm very sure, and I'll see you all for the new war bond test very, very soon.